Last offseason, I made a handful of bold predictions on who I thought would break out in the 2021 season. I chose Corbin Burnes as a dark horse for the NL Cy Young in March, which worked out pretty well for me. And I also thought that Cedric Mullins and Tanner Houck were flying under people's radars. It was a lot of fun to make those videos, and even more fun seeing them come to fruition. But with a larger audience now, the stakes are a bit higher, which makes me kind of nervous. Nonetheless, today we're going to be talking about my first breakout pick for the 2022 season. No guarantees I'm right again, but my track record is pretty solid right now, so let's dive in. The Los Angeles Angels have made plenty of noise early in the offseason, and we should all be expecting them to at this point. They have three of the greatest talents in the game in Shohei Ohtani, Mike Trout, and Anthony Rendon. Sprinkle in some Jared Walsh and you have one of the best infields in baseball. They need to do everything they can to supplement that talent and produce a winning team. Their biggest issue, as most people know, has been pitching for the past 6 years. They've already poached two of the Mets' marquee pitchers in Noah Syndergaard and Aaron Loup, and they don't seem to be anywhere near close to done, with rumors involving them in discussions for Marcus Stroman, Kevin Gausman, and Robbie Ray. If they can follow through and acquire more arms in these negotiations, they will quickly become one of the most dangerous teams in the American League. This won't erase the past years of disappointment unless they can make the playoffs, though. However, I feel like the bright spots on an otherwise disappointing Angels pitching staff often get overlooked just because of the team's poor reputation. Although he's flamed out at this point, Dylan Bundy looked like a budding ace at one point in 2020. Alex Cobb pitched far better than his results indicated last season, and will likely be a popular free agent target that's on the cheaper side. But the one guy I have in mind to talk about specifically is Patrick Sandoval. If you're not a West Coast baseball fan, you may have never even heard of this left-handed starting pitcher before. He was quietly acquired back in 2018 from the Houston Astros for Martin Maldonado, a deal orchestrated by the new Mets GM, Billy Epler. Sandoval's numbers in 2019 and 2020 were lukewarm, to say the least, posting a 5.33 ERA and a 1-9 record in 19 games. He was battling injuries while also bouncing in between the minors and the majors, as well as the bullpen and the rotation, so it'd be hard for any 22-year-old pitcher to find their footing in that situation. A situation that has become entangled with the Angels' reputation, which is pitching mismanagement. However, the former 2015 11th round pick was given a fair shake in 2021, mostly out of necessity. After 3 relief outings as the long man, Sandoval earned himself a spot in the Angels' rotation as they wavered through another disappointing season. Because the Angels flew under the radar outside of the otherworldly performance of Shohei Ohtani, many people didn't take notice of Patrick Sandoval this season much at all. Today we're going to expand on what he accomplished this past season and what may be in store for next season. Taking a look at Sandoval's surface level stats will show a respectable season cut short. He pitched just 87 innings from late April to early August before a lower back stress fracture ended his season prematurely. He maintained a 3.62 ERA over 17 games total, but in his 14 games as a starting pitcher, that number drops down to 3.39. If we keep looking at the same window of the 14 starts he made, because I assume the Angels will be using him as a starting pitcher, hitters just batted .215 against him. Now, batting average against isn't all-encompassing and isn't a great stat to use for evaluating pitchers, but what I find interesting about this is the fact that Sandoval yielded a 51.1 ground ball percentage on batted balls against him last season. Of pitchers that hit the 80 inning mark or more, this ranks 22nd in MLB, but had he qualified and pitched a full season while maintaining that mark, that would have ranked it 8th highest in MLB, ahead of the likes of noted contact pitcher Marcus Stroman, who the Angels are eyeing. Bear in mind also that the Angels' infield defense compiled a rough -15 outs above average during the 2021 season, being carried by David Fletcher's mark of +9, which led the team. So it's not like Sandoval had great defense behind him to get this mark. So how could a ground ball pitcher find success with this lackluster defense behind him? Well, the answer is loads of soft contact. Throughout 2021, Sandoval owned a 22.7% soft contact rating on batted balls against. Of pitchers with at least 80 innings pitched, that mark was 4th in MLB and 2nd among starting pitchers, only trailing Zach Wheeler, who I've heard is pretty talented. This helped land Sandoval in the 97th percentile for average exit velocity, ahead of the NL Cy Young winner Corbin Burnes, who we were talking about before. So unlike his previous 2 seasons, Sandoval had a knack for getting ground balls and getting soft ground balls at that. He ended his season with a respectable 25.9 strikeout percentage, a 5.1% jump upwards from the 2020 season. It's clear that while he puts up respectable strikeout and fielding independent pitching numbers, his bread and butter relies on contact. So why did his whole strategy as a pitcher flip on a dime in the 2021 season? Many have noted that he had a negative 12.0% change in hard hit percentage against him, the 8th widest margin of change in MLB from 2020 to 2021. He very clearly figured something out in his pitch arsenal, so let's dive into what exactly changed for him. Leading up into 2021, Sandoval used a 4-pitch arsenal, including a 4-seam fastball, a slider, a changeup, and a curveball. His slider was his knockout pitch, but this was pretty standard stuff for a starting pitcher. But not only did he add a 5th pitch in a new sinker to expand his arsenal in 2021, but he completely changed his usage rate for pretty much every pitch he has. The most staggering difference in the most recent season for Sandoval was the jacked up usage of his changeup, bumped up from 22.9% to 29.6% between seasons. This made it his most used pitch, and there's not a ton of MLB pitchers that use their changeup more than any other pitch. His brand new sinker wasn't kept secret for long, as it became Sandoval's 3rd most used pitch at 18.8%. This allowed him to throw his curveball less and pick better spots for it, and this had always been the pitch that Sandoval got hit hardest on with an 800 slugging against in 2021. There are a few key takeaways here. One takeaway is how Sandoval made his 4-seamer more dynamic by relying on it less because he was using his changeup more and mixing in his sinker. Having 2 fastballs is pretty beneficial for any pitcher. He also improved his velocity on both of these fastballs, ticking up from 92.8 miles per hour to 93.3 on average. Another takeaway is the always consistent production of his slider, which has maintained a 230 weighted on base average or lower in back-to-back seasons. With his sinker choking the inside zone on lefties and his slider doing the exact opposite, it made the vertical movement of his changeup all the more devastating. And this is why adding a pitch or switching up the rate that you use your pitches is very important for pitchers. All of this resulted in what I believe is the most promising stat that signals a potential breakout for Sandy going forward: his called and swinging strike percentage, or CSW percent. It's a relatively new stat, but it's definitely reliable. While this stat doesn't include foul balls, it basically tells us who are the best pitchers in the game at throwing strikes, whether they're nailing corners or missing bats in the process. Patrick Sandoval's CSW percent in 2021 was an impressive 31.0%, ranking him 14th in the league for pitchers with at least 80 innings pitched. This mark also placed him ahead of the likes of Kevin Gausman, Charlie Morton, and Logan Webb, while also placing him in the 92nd percentile for whiff percentage. So there's a ton to like here, but this is also a lot of data to process. There's a lot of stats being thrown at you, so it's okay if not all of it is coming together in your head. We don't know for sure if Sandoval can sustain these numbers in a normal full-length season anyway. So instead of laying it out and making assessments like I have been doing, let's watch how Patrick Sandoval navigated his way through his best start of the 2021 season to see it all come together in real time. If you're an Angels fan, you probably know that back on July 24th, Patrick Sandoval lost a no-hitter against the Twins with 1 out in the 9th. His final line in this game was really impressive. At 8 1/3 innings pitched, 1 earned run allowed, 1 hit, 1 walk, 2 hit by pitches, and 13 strikeouts. Only one of the 30 Twins plate appearances against the Irish Panda saw a count go over 6 pitches, meaning Sandoval was extremely efficient at getting outs in this game. Patrick Sandoval was mixing his pitches for the entirety of the game. He used all 5 of his pitches in the first inning alone, but continued to mix them in throughout every inning, and still managed to keep Twins hitters off balance consistently. This game also showcases how effective Sandoval can be when attacking hitters with his sinker-slider combo that we mentioned before, constantly rotating his pitches inside and away to torment left-handed hitters, and doing the inverse to mix up right-handed hitters. He recorded 9 outs apiece on his changeup and slider, with those pitches accounting for 12 of his 13 strikeouts, which isn't all that surprising. However, it was the usage of his 4-seamer that left hitters off balance against his sinker, resulting in 6 ground ball outs, one of them lost on an error. Before Brent Rooker broke up the no-no with a double in the 9th inning, just 2 Twins plate appearances against Sandoval resulted in fly balls that made it to the outfield. Sandoval was effectively suffocating hitters without missing the zone much at all, meaning the Twins had little to no chance of barreling any pitch. Now, we know that Sandoval won't always strike out 13 batters or take no-nos into the 9th, but what he can continue to do is shuffle his sinker-slider combo into the zone, forcing ground ball outcomes to be more and more frequent. Doing so will make his changeup, the pitch he used to strike out 9 Twins in this game, all the more surprising because of the velocity and directional difference. Add in the rare 4-seamer or curveball, and you're suddenly dealing with one of the most most effective southpaws in the game. So all in all, there's a lot to like from Patrick Sandoval, and unlike in 2021, the pressure probably won't be on him to pick up a huge end of the Angels' pitching production. With a current projected rotation of Shohei Ohtani, Noah Syndergaard, Sandy, and Jose Suarez, the Angels likely aren't done adding either. If Sandoval can stay healthy, he will be a secret weapon for this pitching staff. The introduction of his sinker completely revolutionized his pitching arsenal. He now has an ability to consistently attack hitters and rotate his 5 pitches in a way that could likely pave success for the 2022 season. If he manages to stay on the field, he's a name you could hear a lot next year. Or I could be completely wrong. That's baseball after all. Regardless of how Sandoval does, the Angels would likely be a fun team to watch in 2022. And I'm hoping they can finally get Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani to the playoffs. Hey everyone, thanks for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and it was brought to you by Dugout Mugs, one of my favorite sponsors for the channel. They're going to sell out all of their products this holiday season, but these products are going to be the first ones to go. I'm talking about their new metal bat dugout mugs. I haven't been able to get my hands on one yet, but they look really cool. All the logo designs are different from the wooden bats, so you should definitely go check them out on their website at dugoutmugs.com. And if you use the code JOHNBOY, you can get 30% off on all products. I really think that these make for a great holiday gift for like your dad or grandpa if they're also a sports fan or baseball fan. And their products have also been a huge hit, so you don't want to wait too long to go get them. 30% off is a great deal because these are premium products and they are premium priced, so don't forget about that code JOHNBOY. That's all I got for you guys today though. I'm the Jolly Olive, and I'll see you guys next time.